Hey guys, Andrew here with Great Lakes Brats Media. Today we're here with Kim at Vintage Alpaca, also with Holistic Harvest Farms, one of the first hemp farms here in Ohio. We got a 12-acre property here with over 100 alpacas. We're going to take a look around and show the different things and how it is to run an alpaca farm. Let's do it.
So these are all females in this pasture. Some of them are very young, some of them are a little older, but either they have a baby by their side, or they're ready to breed, or they already are pregnant. One of the three situations. So my vet's coming on Wednesday to do ultrasounds, and he will ultrasound the females to see if they're pregnant, how long they've been pregnant, or if they're not pregnant, where are they in their cycle, so I know what day to breed them.
Gotcha.
Right, so I'll know on Wednesday who's not pregnant, what day I need to bring the male in to breed her, or if they already are pregnant, then I'm just waiting. Yeah, so we have 4 babies in here, all females. You can see the little white one over there. She's not really white, but light fawn. Her name's April. She was born in April. Then the black one, that brown one, and there's another brown one in here. Must be probably
playing with the squirrel, chasing the squirrel.
They get very playful with squirrels. Yeah, they like to play with things like squirrels.
That's cool.
They're very intrigued by that. But they're scared of their own shadows by nature. So they're scared of everything. And they're never going to hurt you because they only have teeth on the bottom. There's no teeth on top. Show them your teeth there, girl. That's it, Rosebud. Show your teeth. They also can't really kick you because they don't have hooves. They have padded feet, like a dog. So you can't really get kicked either. They can't do anything except spit.
Have they ever spit before in your face?
Not at me. No, they don't spit at me. Only time they spit is when you're trying to like shear them and put muzzle on them or something, or tie them down.
My dog does it sometimes.
Or treat them.
He'll sneeze in my face. If I'm like holding him, he'll like purposely sneeze to like...
See if you'll let go.
Yeah. It's funny.
Well, that's what these guys do too.
It's almost like an alpaca.
Yeah, they want to spit to see if you'll let go of them because they don't want to be restrained. They just like to roam around. They only eat grass and hay. We give them some grain that we pick up at Tractor Supply, especially for alpacas or llamas, because they're related to llamas. They can interbreed with llamas, and they're also related to camels. So they're in the same family as that. So they come out of just 3 countries. They come out of Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. That's it. And they live way up high in the Altiplano. So every day up there, the weather's the same. It drops below freezing at night, and it goes up to about 50 or 60 with a lot of sunshine during the day.
Okay.
That's their normal environment. So they don't like humidity. They don't like hot. So they hate summer. Therefore, I never sell any of my alpacas south of South Carolina or south of Tennessee. Nope. I don't care how much money they're going to offer. They're not going there because it's very...
humid.
Yeah, it's inhumane for them to be in that environment with all that humidity and heat when they're wearing their winter coat every single day.
Gotcha.
So that's what we harvest is the fur, and we harvest it just once a year.
What's the most ideal state, or like what's the biggest state that produces
Michigan
alpacas?
is really one of the best.
Okay.
Because they love cold and cool and yet sunshine. There's a lot of farms in the Northeast. And
it's kind of hilly up there too because they're more from the mountains, right?
Yeah, and quite a few in Colorado. Although out there they have to provide hay because they don't have lush grass like we have. So when you got to buy hay and you're in Colorado, it's like $20 a bale. Here it's $5 a bale. So think of the difference to feed them. You know, because I need for my animals about 500 bales a year to feed these guys. So if you're in Colorado, that could amount to a lot of money. But the environment there, being in the mountains, is great for them. It's very much like
the fur. You have, you said you have like a UFC fighter comes in, like a wrestler or something comes in.
Yeah. So there's a group of guys that goes around and they shear alpacas. And the head guy, they call their head man, he is a UFC fighter, undefeated.
Okay. Wow.
And so some of his helpers are also UFC fighters.
So they can really manhandle him and like get him to...
He can, but he's a little guy, and he's so mild-mannered and so gentle with them and that. And I'm like, I've watched his videos on UFC. I'm like, oh my gosh, you turn into a different creature when you're out there.
That's cool.
Yeah, we joke about it a lot.
So the fur, do you call it fur, or would you?
So we call it fiber.
Fiber, okay.
So I'll show you some fiber. So this is raw fiber right off of an alpaca. Feel how soft it is. It's almost like a cloud.
Very
it's
soft.
A little very like cashmere. kind of.
nice
So
and
that's what
soft.
we harvest off every animal.
Okay.
We don't wash it or anything before we take it off. Just take it off. Now this has to be cleaned either by a machine or by a person. All this stuff has to come out. It's a very tedious job to get all the hay, all these little pieces have to come out before it's made into yarn. So, the animals being on grass keeps them much cleaner.
Do they brush them before they cut the hair ever?
Sometimes they vacuum them off, blow it with a blower,
Okay.
or they'll brush it off a little bit. But if it's embedded down by the skin, that's a problem. So keeping them on grass keeps them much cleaner than if they're like a pen that's just stones and dirt, because
Gotcha.
now all that gets under their fur. So that's the raw fiber. That has to go to a processor to be made into yarns, and this is 100% alpaca, so you can
Wow.
feel that. It's 7 times warmer than sheep's wool and hypoallergenic. So when you're wearing it, it's super warm and nobody itches. It's like sheep's wool itches. People itch, they get allergic reactions. Alpaca is hypoallergenic. There's nobody allergic to alpaca. And that's a big plus. There's no lanolin in this hair that has to be removed because the sheep have like some kind of a waxy lanolin on their fiber. And it has to
Gotcha.
be removed with boiling water, scalding water before you can use it. This doesn't. So
How long does it
alpaca,
take to get to this process?
it depends. I mean, you got to clean all that fiber. If the blanket's very clean and you get a spinner who can spin well, she can spin probably half, so maybe 10 of these in a night.
Okay. And how many pairs of socks would this make?
Oh, maybe 3.
That's not bad.
So that's not bad, right?
Cool.
But it does sell for quite a bit of money. So a skein of alpaca might sell for 20 bucks. A skein of sheep's wool might sell for 5 bucks.
Gotcha.
So there's a difference in price. And after we get to that point, knitters and crocheters can make product. This is a nice headband. This comes out of Peru because there's a lot of products that come out of Peru. This is baby alpaca. And they put some beads on it. So they make items that Western cultures want to buy.
So is the fibers from the baby alpaca different than a mature alpaca when you go to
Yes,
get
the
more
most
soft?
valuable fiber is the baby.
Gotcha.
We get more per ounce for the baby alpaca. And as the animal gets older, the fiber gets progressively coarser. So pretty soon it's just what we call rug yarn.
Gotcha.
It's almost unusable after they get to be maybe 7 or 8 years old.
Do they ever mix the two together, the older stuff?
Sometimes, but it's better not to. It's better just to
Keep them
start with
separate.
all soft or all coarse, depending on what you're making.
You sell
this-
the socks too?
Yeah, I brought some socks
Do you
to
got them
show you.
on your website, or what's the best way to contact it if somebody wants some socks? Or
Basically just by email.
okay,
Oh, I thought I had some in there.
is it,
I have
is
some
it
that I can
vintage
show you.
alpaca
At AOL.com.
Okay.
Vintage alpacas at AOL.com.
Cool.
These are mittens that were handmade by a lady in Canada that made custom mittens. So she measured my hand from here to here, and then I sent her the fiber off of 2 of my animals. So the fawn is from my girl named Ginger, and the white was Infinity. So what she did, they're called thrummed mittens. They're stuffed with alpaca.
Oh, wow.
So these, usually she makes them for the trading posts up in the Arctic Circle because they're super warm.
Does it stay resistant to water and
Yes,
stuff?
they're water resistant. Alpaca is naturally water resistant and fire resistant. And it's a hollow fiber.
Wow.
So she made those. Nice product for going outside if you're in the cold weather a lot. But however, you can't do much when they're this thick. You don't have any dexterity with your fingers. But if you're just hiking around, they're great.
No, it's nice.
Yeah, so that's just a few of the products that I brought down to show you. And we saw this herd of girls. Now,
girls here.
in this other pasture over here, there's 2 males. I have to keep the males and females separate because I'm a breeding farm, so I have to know the genetics of who's breeding to who. So over there, there's 2 boys. They're both older in age. I don't use them anymore as studs. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to come in with the girls. They do. But one of them over there is a national champion. Not this one, the other one. He must be in the building right now. But so I have his offspring, and my job is to prove that those males can also produce champions.
You
So that's
remember
why
being
we've
in
got them all separated here. These are the grandpas. We're going to head over this way towards the teenage boys. They're a little rambunctious, the teenagers. So I had to pick and choose. I had to say, okay, which one of you guys does not look like you are a herd sire? You are not getting the qualifications to reproduce. Because it's a lot of a beauty contest.
They make these mounds naturally to clean themselves?
They do. They roll in these. These are called their dust area. They take a dust bath. and that keeps the flies off of them. Because we
Chickens
don't
kinda do the
wash
same thing.
alpacas. Right, kind of like chickens. They just do a dust bath. So they make these big divots everywhere. And this property being an old greenhouse, every 18 inches there's...
You said it used to be 8 acres of greenhouse here?
Yeah, yes, it
back
was
in the
all
day?
under glass for 100 years.
Okay.
And in that glass greenhouse, every 18 inches is drain tile. So when you're
Okay.
going along, you look at the dust piles, sometimes you see
The drain tile?
the tile, the drain tile in there still. Another reason why we never flood down here, because we have drain tile everywhere. The whole property's drained.
This soil's pretty sandy, loamy, right?
It's sandy loam, yep,
Winter.
yep. So we hardly ever flood, if ever, down here, which is good.
The dogs keep away any type of like
Yeah,
predators and stuff.
Yeah, the
You're-
dogs keep the deer off the property and any predators like coyotes or other domestic dogs. Because the deer, they carry a disease that kills the alpacas.
Gotcha.
The white-tailed deer carries the meningeal disease, which kills these guys.
Same
And
with the poop, right? You
unfortunately-
got to keep clean up their poop because
Yep.
there's a parasite in it. That'll
Yeah,
do
there's
infection.
parasites in the poop too because they're eating grass, and all grass has certain kinds of parasites. Everybody's grass has parasites. And unfortunately, with this animal being from South America, they can't tolerate
Do you
the
use
parasites from here.
anti-parasitic stuff like ivermectin?
We do. Yeah, we use a lot of ivermectin every 30 days. They get that. So we'll go visit the teenage boys. Yeah, so some boys just don't have the look, the right look that breeders want. And the right look would be a short, stocky, muscular alpaca. A lot of fiber on its head, its legs. A non-desirable one would have a lot less fiber on its legs and head. Maybe it has a flat hairstyle instead of a puffy hairstyle. And it has to have super soft fiber. So we have the fiber tested to tell us how many microns is the fiber.
Under
And if your
microscope or
fiber,
something? Do they look-
yeah, they have a microscope and they have a special computerized machine that will tell us how many microns their fiber is.
Gotcha.
And if it doesn't fall in a certain range, you really shouldn't be breeding them because we're breeding to increase the herd, to increase the value of the herd.
Is that Oreo?
So, pardon me?
That's not Oreo, is it? Oreo? Remember Oreo used to be here? Or is he over there?
Oreo's not here anymore.
Ooh.
Oreo got sold. That's okay, Oreo
Okay.
got a new good home.
Okay, cool.
So if we look at the difference here between Cookie, the gray one, and Cinnamon, the brown one, Cookie's head is totally fluffy and his hair stands up real nice, but the brown one, his is more flat. See how it's blowing in the wind? It doesn't have the density. It's not as full.
As you're talking about them.
So that's one stipulation. Also, Cinnamon, his legs are very long and thin. Cookie's very more compact and muscular down his legs. So Cookie is a breeder, Cinnamon is not. So Cinnamon got gelded. Actually, the only two in here that are breeders are Harley Quinn and Cinnamon. The other ones I decided did not fit the qualifications to be breeders.
Characteristics in that for beautiful.
Yes, everybody wants spotted right now. That's the Appaloosa. And that one's called a leopard Appaloosa, the rarest of all colors that you could ever get with an alpaca.
Wow.
So he is in very high demand to have babies. My problem is a lot of my girls are related to him. So these are all the colors that alpacas come in naturally. So this is all the natural colors they come in. When I first got in the business, having a solid color was very popular. Everybody wanted solid colors. But now people are liking the spotted look, like the Appaloosa. So yeah, I've been trying to use this one a lot in breeding, but I have to look at the genetics, which leads me to another little prop here that I brought.
Remember one time you were breeding them, the other ones get kind of jealous, like, hey, pick me, pick me.
Pick me, pick me, they do.
Yeah,
yes.
they get kind of
But
angry.
now that these guys are fixed, now that they're gelded and they can't breed, they don't feel that anymore. They don't bother me about it.
The testosterone are not
They
like
just,
a
they
wound
just
up.
ignore it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so somebody's over there breeding. So everybody here has a microchip and a birth certificate. So you can see where they're from Peru, Canada.
Interesting.
If it doesn't say, it's probably USA. Cookie, what are you looking at? There's Bolivia, Peru, Chile, United States. Yeah, so when I'm gonna breed, I look at both the mother and the fathers and make sure they're not related. Because like my veterinarian told me, if you start inbreeding your animals, you can expect a lot of birth defects. And if you're not ready to deal with some pretty gross things that come out, don't inbreed, don't do inbreeding. Even though inbreeding could give you the best result ever, could. could, magic word.
Just like
but
purebreds for like dogs and stuff.
yep,
More
just like
purebred,
purebred, right? The more
problems.
purebred, the more problems. Exactly. It's the same thing with alpacas. These guys, so like when I'm selling them, there's a whole total different price structure to pet ones, which are the ones that have already been gelded and fixed, or breeding boys. Breeding boys go from like maybe 6,000 to 8,000 and up.
Okay.
Pet males go for like $200 to maybe $500 at the most. So there's a huge difference between the people that are going to buy the breeder and the people that are going to buy the pet. I kind of lean towards, I like the pet people better because I have such an animal heart for animals that I can't stand that they're just going to use them for one thing and one thing only and then dump them. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
Yeah, and then pass them along to somebody who maybe doesn't even care about them anymore because they'll go to the back field because they're not the latest and greatest, or maybe they got older. And the pet people, they keep them forever and they love them forever. They're very lovable animals.
How long does an alpaca typically live?
They use typically 15 years. But in the United States, we've gotten them to live over 20 years. So in South America, they only live 3 or 4 years because they harvest them. They eat them. Every restaurant in South America has alpaca on the menu, and the people eat it all the time because there's millions of them. But up here, we don't usually eat them. So here we've gotten them to live 20 years. Also, all of our vet medicines that expire, like when they get past expiration point, they're collected by veterinarians and they're sent to like places like South America where they don't have any medicines.
Gotcha.
So they have, they're trying to make their animals live longer, but they don't have all the resources we have. They don't buy hay. It's what you got to eat is what's outside. That's it.
So this is another area of the farm. We have a high tunnel here that Kim's growing some different plants inside, a different part of the business. We'll let her take it and kind of show us inside here. This is a high tunnel that was built about 5 years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
And
right, so we usually use it just for our own personal benefit, growing mostly vegetables, things that I like to eat, and I've really enjoyed harvesting stuff all summer. Come on in. We have to keep the gates up because some of these plants are poisonous to alpacas.
Gotcha.
Eggplant is deadly poisonous. Tomatoes, we can't grow tomatoes or peppers. Well, peppers I do grow, but I have to keep the alpacas out because they are deadly poisonous for these guys. But harvested a lot of eggplant, eaten a lot of eggplant this summer. Ton of cabbage we harvested, and a lot of peppers, and they're so big they're pulling the plants down. So they're Anaheims and chilies.
So here's the alpaca manure, right?
Right, so here I have them. If it's clean without hay in it, I want them to dump it in here. And then I'm just going to take a shovel and I'm just going to put it in between the plants. And,
nice.
and it deteriorates, down to soil.
And you can use that stuff almost straight when it comes
Straight,
out of the alpaca
right,
because it's not
straight.
super hot. It's
not hot.
Burn like chicken manure.
Yeah, it doesn't burn at all. It just holds moisture, which is good. So this stuff does really good for gardens, and especially holding moisture is good because my soil is so sandy and loamy that watering every day gets old. But yeah, we got some parsley here. I keep cutting, taking home, drying it. But it'll be through the winter because this likes cold too. So that'll stay, but the basil doesn't like cold. So first cold snap,
is this your second season grown in here? Or third season grown in here?
Third.
Okay.
Third, but we're making a lot of progress this time. Yeah, then I just had the extra marigold seeds, so I put them in. But look at the size on some of these flowers.
I dehydrated mine and made marigold tea. It's
really?
Good, yeah. Or I give it to the chickens. It helps their yolk get a little bit darker orange.
The flower?
Yeah, the carotenoids from the orange and yellow, and their beaks too to help them out. Oh. It's like antiviral, antibacterial
I'll take
too.
some over. I only have 3 chickens.
They love them. You just pick a couple and throw them to them, they'll go crazy for them.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'll try that. So alpacas are like cats. They go to the bathroom in communal areas. So they don't go all over the place. They pick a spot, and that's where everybody goes to the bathroom. And when you're cleaning up, that makes life a whole lot easier. So this is the boys' area, and the boys are very clean. The girls are so-so, but the boys are very clean, which is exactly the opposite of humans. But the object there is if the boys put their manure on top of the other boys' manure, then they're the top dog, and all the smell is them. But the girls are like, let's spread it out a little bit so that the boys can find us. Because if it's all in one spot, they can't find us.
Smart.
So the alpacas love this room because it stays cooler, because it's made out of block. Feel how cool it is in here? They like this. So in the winter...
This is all straw or alfalfa? What is this?
This is alfalfa and orchard grass hay, and that's their straw, the yellow. So straw is typically the bedding, but these animals are very picky. So they pick through the hay, and they throw on the ground what it is they don't like They don't want this because it's too stemmy. They wouldn't eat that. They'll go like that. Nope, we don't want that piece. I don't want that piece either. They're very picky. They want this piece because it's soft, thick grass. So with them being picky, we get a lot of waste on the ground that other animals like cows would be like, this is heaven. But alpacas are picky. So that is one drawback to them. And they will starve before they eat what they don't want to eat. This is my really old guy. He's 24.
I remember
He was the first one ever born here, and he is dwindling very badly. And every day I tell him
he's
it's
24?
okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Every day, Sterling, I tell you, it's okay. You had a great life. It's okay if you go. It is. All right, buddy? He's got arthritis very bad in the neck because they have a long neck, so that's one of the first places they get arthritis. He can't lift it more than that. So when he walks with that. But I'm the farm of life, and until he shows me he's in pain, we'll just keep going. I'm hoping one day I just come down and he called it the end. Most of the day he just lays in front of his fan. Just another group of females back here. We had a baby born, not yesterday, day before, and it's laying out here with its mother in the grass. So usually I just let them give birth on their own. They don't need my help. But I have to be like aware because there's a possibility I may have to put on the magic glove. People get kind of scared when they see this come out. Oh, geez, what you gonna do with that, lady? Especially the school kids, they're like, oh, I'm like, yep, this is what I have to do sometimes. Sometimes I put the lube on my arm and I have to go into the animal's butt and I have to feel, where's the baby? Usually it's about when my elbow is, that's how far I have to go in to feel where the baby is, where the cervix is, to see if it's the head or if it's the tail. If it's the head, then okay, that's good news. So just give her some more time. If it's the tail, that means put her in the trailer and start heading towards the veterinarian because it's breech.
Gotcha.
And I can't get a breech baby out. It's too hard. It's just very difficult to get it through the hips. So I don't have the strength. It takes a lot of strength to get a breech baby out. So right away you got to take them because once
you drive all the way to Columbus, or is there a veterinarian local?
Usually if my veterinarian in Manaway, if he's around, I'll go there.
Yeah,
but if he's not, I just go straight to Columbus.
Gotcha.
Luckily that hasn't happened that often. Usually they can give birth all by themselves. Nobody has to help them. In fact, they don't want help. But the babies are very fragile for like the first week. So they can easily get sick, or maybe they're not getting enough milk because the alpaca only has 4 nipples and each nipple only makes a teaspoon of milk every hour, only a teaspoon. So the baby has to nurse like every 20 minutes. It has to go from each nipple every 20 minutes just to get that little teaspoon out. So in the wild, 1 out of every 4 dies because there's a lot of reasons. Predators, but the mother might not have enough milk. So we have to watch and make sure the baby is nursing a lot. It has energy. If I saw it didn't have energy, I'd say something's wrong right away.
It takes about 9 months for a baby to, mother carries it for about 9 months too?
12 months.
12 months.
Yeah, 11 and a half to 12 months is their gestation.
Wow.
And then she'll nurse the baby for 6 months.
Wow.
Sometimes a little bit more. Now this is her last year's baby. This one right here. This one's 1. And then the newborn is just a couple days.
What's the newborn's name?
We are calling her Sparkle. Sparkle. So Sparkle came, I actually did an outside breeding with the mother. So I went to another farm and used their stud because the mom was related to too many of my boys. But I like the outcome that I got on the baby. Baby's got very nice curly fiber, very soft. So I think she's going to be a breeding female instead of just a show female, instead of just being a breeding female. They have a good life back here. They can graze in all these fields. So this all used to be under glass back here. It was a lot of work, let me tell you.
You said 8 acres of glass, right?
8 acres.
And you would supply like all the Home Depots and Lowe's, or just like?
Yeah, yep. Home Depot, Lowe's. One used to be called Forest City. It was a big chain we did. We did Kroger's. We've done Safeway. We've done a lot of big grocery chains. Used to be Tops. Tops used to be in Cleveland. Now they're not anymore. But we did a lot of that. We used to have like 3 semis on the road, about 11 straight trucks. And every day, all we would do is bring stuff out of the greenhouse. Just bring it out. Just all our people would be like, just bring it out, put it on carts. Every day, just bring it. Somebody else could be watering, but you got to keep bringing it out, putting it on carts, putting it on trucks, and away it would go. Oh, that was a lot of work.
So you grew up on this land way long ago with your dad and
Yep.
stuff?
Yeah, my grandfather, yep.
That's cool.
Back in the day when my grandfather had the greenhouse, his rule was nobody was allowed to speak while they were working. There was no talking.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when that was allowed, those kind of things,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
And like we had little segregated bathrooms and stuff. It was different back then. Although I don't regret it, that was what happened at the time. But nowadays, my gosh, you don't ever do that anymore, you know? But
This all used to be greenhouses over here, right? All of Shaft Road.
That's how ours were. So they were single pane glass with cypress. That whole structure is made out of cypress. So cypress never rots.
All Shaft, there used to be a lot of greenhouses. I remember
There
up
was
there.
500 acres going back this valley of all glass greenhouses. Yep. So the silo was used for coal. There's a hole in the top of it. And my grandfather would go up to the railroad tracks and get the coal off the car because they would dump it at there's a little station up there. And he would bring it down and put it over here, and up the elevator, it would fill the silo with coal. And the boiler was inside to heat part of the greenhouse because our other boiler is connected to that stack. That was another gigantic coal boiler over there. And then we had 4 gas boilers. So that's his boiler room there. But yeah, well, obviously we don't use these anymore. That was part of the downfall of the whole greenhouse industry, was the coal situation.
Now you got alpacas.
Then I got the alpacas 24 years ago. Yeah, this is where the bigger boys live. These guys are all intact. None of them are gelded or fixed, as we would say. So when they get out, it could be a problem. And it happens sometimes down here that they get out. And when you get 10 boys in with 35 girls, the possibilities are endless as to who could be the daddy. So that becomes a game. So I have to look at the DNA markers on the computer screen and decide whose markers line up with the babies, because that's the only way to figure it out, just like with humans.
Gotcha, interesting. And then over here, one last thing. This is where we used to do the hemp, right?
Yes,
and you still got the hemp going on with
we still are doing products.
Farms?
Yep, we still are doing products. We're still doing a lot of gummies. What else sells good? The pet CBD sells real good, and the gummies are the best sellers.
So you can find your CBD at holisticharvestfarms.com.
Right,
CBD,
right. We have a website, or you can come right to the farm and text me what you want to pick up, because we do RSO, which is really good for pain. We do a lot of the tinctures. We did a lot of Delta 8 products, which were very, very much in demand and still are. And I love the gummies for like sleep, pain, anxiety. That's what I use them for. And most of my clients are senior citizens or people with pain.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having us. It's been
problem.
Awesome.
So I would encourage anybody who's looking for land to have themselves a small farm. There's a lot of benefits to farming.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, guys. And thanks again, Kim, for having us.
No problem. Thanks, Andrew, for coming out.
Here.
Good.